Hello, social media land. Getting ready to get started here. So let me mute everyone out.
Muted.
It's that time of the evening, y'all. Hello, successionaires, and welcome to the talk show, The Road to Success. It's a show to give you education, knowledge, and information so you can improve your life, your lifestyle, your financial situation, your knowledge, and your information.
You're muted. I can't hear you on the phone.
Unmuted.
Hello, successionaires, and welcome to the talk show, The Road to Success. The Road to Success is a show to give you information, knowledge, know-how, and the know-how and information to build and grow your life to be that which you're seeking. It's an opportunity for you to talk to the country, ask questions and answers. We have a very, very nice show this evening. The show is titled All About Credit. And credit is something that's very, very important. I'm your host, Professor William Murray, and president of the Millionaire Mastermind Institute. The Institute is an institute for entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs. It's there, here at the Institute, where millionaire mindsets, lifestyles, and business are made. We take you from idea to implementation and beyond. Get your pen and your paper because you are going to need it this evening. You're going to get some vital information and knowledge and know-how to help you build and grow your credit. I don't know why I got a frog in my throat this evening, but we'll get along good with it anyway. And as always, the God in me greets and blesses the God in you. Like I said, get your pencil and your paper because you are going to need it this evening. With the information that we're going to give you to help you get the information you need and build your credit. This show tonight is definitely where you want to be. The show's title tonight is All About Credit. And that's what it is. It is all about credit. You know, I've been out there dealing in the business world now. This is my 44th year in the business world. The business world. And I've learned a lot, and one of the most important things you have in business and in life is the value of your credit. If you got good credit, you can almost get anything in life that you want. To have good credit is a process. It takes you knowing what to do, when to do, and how to do. It's not as simple as you wanting and to have good credit. It's to make sure you're doing what needs to be done to assure that you do. You know, I was in real estate for almost 15 years. I was also one of the educators. So I have a young lady this evening who's going to get into and teach you all about credit. Miss Lisa Garrett, also known as the Credit Mama, is the owner of Lifestyle Financial Solutions. No matter how much money you earn, having good credit is essential. She started helping friends and family and then created Lifestyle Financial Solutions. After truly becoming more acquainted with her clients, she essentially understood that many individuals, just like her, were not taught, nor did they really understand how credit worked. Lisa created her company to focus on not only preparing credit, but helping clients build and maintain a health. How are you doing this evening, Ms. Garrett?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you know, you and I, I'm not going to tell them who we are to each other, what we are, not yet. But I've been knowing you all your life.
Exactly, literally.
We may not be real close, but we still love each other.
Exactly.
You know, distance does, because distance has no value when it's family and love is involved.
Absolutely.
Now,
it does not. Absolutely.
What you do is so valuable to people knowing about the value of this. You know, I learned a long time ago how important it was to have good credit. When I got into real estate, although I knew long before then the value of credit, but when I got into real estate, I really realized how little people really knew about credit, how important it was, what it took to get, keep, and maintain good credit. And it's easy. It is really easy. Anything in life is easy. It really, really is. Everything in life is easy. All you have to do is learn the process. I don't care what it is. Once you learn the process, the rest is easy.
Absolutely. I mean, you are right. I kind of learned it the hard way, right? I learned about credit the hard way, but once you understand it, I like to use the expression, you know, or maybe most people have heard, cash is king. Well, credit is power. It truly is power, and it has the power to transform your lifestyle. And it's super simple once you understand it. And I think that the problem is a lot of people are not taught credit. For myself, I was always told to not ruin my credit, but I wasn't told how or taught how not ruin my credit. So there's the disconnect comes, right? People tell you don't ruin your credit, but how do you not ruin your credit?
Well, see, now that's where the process comes in. That is where the process comes in.
Absolutely. It definitely is a process, and it's super simple. And once you understand the main factors and understand the process, there's no limits to where you can go and what you can do and how you can transform your life.
Explain that to them. Explain that to my audience, all my listeners, because we are all across the country. So the lesson of credit fits anyone and everybody. Because whether you like it or not, you got a credit score. If you got a Social Security number, you got a credit score. So explain to them all about credit.
All right, definitely. So your credit is your character, okay? It's your financial character. And I explain to people your credit score is going to allow lenders, banks, institutions to judge you based upon how you manage your credit, okay? And it's important if you are, what I would say, not born with a silver spoon in your mouth or have hundreds of millions of dollars. You certain jobs, for certain insurances, you have to have credit. And it's not hard to maintain once you know the steps in the process. One of the things that I'm super passionate about is allowing people or helping people understand what it takes to maintain or to get a great credit score. And so when I say great credit score, most people will tell you they want an 800 credit score, a perfect credit score. Attainable, but there's 5 factors that you're judged by to get that score. Okay, so there's five very, very, very important factors that you guys, if you have a pen and paper, I would take down notes. I try to go as slow as possible because it's very, very important that you understand how your credit score is calculated and what they look at. Okay, so when it comes to your credit score, the one thing that they like to look at, the most important factor, okay, is your payment history. Huge. Paying your bills on time is extremely important. So we're going to do some math here, okay? So we're going to start with 100%, right? 800 credit score, perfect score. We're going to start with 100%. 35% of your whole credit score is based upon your payment history. Do you pay your bills on time? One late payment can knock you down 100 points. Huge.
Wow.
Huge. Yes, 100 points. And it can be devastating for some people. And the higher your credit score is, if you pay late, it will affect you worse. So what I mean, let's say, William, you have a 700 credit score, right? And let's say I have a 500 credit score. If we were both to make a late payment, and what I mean by late, I mean something needs to be 30, 60, 90 days late. I'm not talking about, you missed your cable bill. I'm talking about something's hit your credit report, right? That one late payment can knock your 700 down to a 600, just like that, by being 30 days late. If I have a 500 credit score, it can knock me down, probably won't knock me down to the 4s, but it can knock me down to maybe a 480, 460. So the higher your score is, the more it affects you. But no matter what, you want to avoid paying late. So one of the tips that I give a lot of my clients is, have things set up an automatic payment. It was hard for me because I never wanted to be controlled of when to pay my money, but I realized life gets to you sometimes. You got families, you got things going on, and you can become, you can forget. So just by having automatic payment can alleviate some of that stress of having to remember, for one, and having to worry about being late. Because things, we're all human, right? So payment history is huge. Very, very important. That's 35% of your score. Okay? The next factor they look at is your utilization. So what does that mean? This one, when I was learning about credit, was the most challenging for me. I'm like, what does it mean when it says utilization? So they're looking at your debt to income, right? How you're using your credit card. So you want to maintain a 30% utilization rate or less. So for example, let's say you had a credit card, a Capital One credit card, and you had a credit line of $1,000. You can use that credit card all day long. You can charge it up, use it however you want to. But when it comes time for your statement date or your due date, you want to make sure that there is no more than a $300 balance at all times. Because 300 is 30% of 1,000. You always want to keep it 30% or less. A lot of times clients will come to me, at least, my credit score is low. I don't know what's going on. I don't have any late payments. I don't have any collections. What's going on? Well, then I'll take a look at their credit report and realize they have maxed out credit card balances. Maxing out your credit card balances or carrying high balances will cause your score to drop. It indicates to the banks or lenders that you're high risk. Because if you're carrying high balances, it means that you're distressed, and they may worry that they won't get their money. So if you want to definitely maintain a low utilization. Off in full each month, if you can, great. I recommend that, especially if you have a credit card that carries interest. However, you want to make sure you have a low balance. I recommend my clients to carry no more than a 7% balance. But again, 30% is doable, 7%, 10% is great. So you want to keep low utilization. Utilization is 30% of your whole score. So we're taking that 100%, right? And thinking about a perfect credit score. This between paying on time and keeping low balances at 65% of your whole entire credit score. That's huge.
It's called debt ratio. Debt ratio.
Correct.
What is the ratio of your debt to the amount that you're approved for? Because in real estate, that hurts a lot of people who want to buy a home. If your debt ratio is too high. They don't want you over 32, 33% debt ratio. So you carry
Absolutely.
on, Lisa.
No, you're right. You're absolutely correct. And a lot of things can affect that. A lot of times people have student loan debt. That all takes into consideration, right? So the less debt you have, the better, your chances of getting approved and also at good rates, right? Because that's key. So when it comes to homeownership, okay? All right, so now we talked about payment history. That's 35% of your whole score. We talked about utilization, keeping your balances low, right? 30% or less. 30% maintain, 7% will build, right? If you're trying to build your credit score. Some people plateau. So some people will call me and say, hey, oh man, I'm at the 720 credit score. Like, I've been paying all my bills on time, I've been keeping low balances, what am I doing? It's not just those two factors. There's other factors. So the next factor we look at, I call it the length of credit history, okay? How long have you had accounts on your credit report, your credit history list, okay? So this makes up about 15% of your credit score, okay? So the age of your oldest account. So the longer you have accounts on your credit report, the better, especially when you're carrying low balances and you have great payment history. This does play a factor. Most people don't realize this. Whenever you go to open up a new account, for example, let's say you go to apply for a new credit card, you shorten the length of your credit history because it's a new account, which can affect your credit score negatively. You never want to close a credit card account. I have some people that come to me and say, hey, I got this credit card, I don't use it. I'm trying to manage my finances. I don't want to get in trouble with it. Should I close this account? Never, ever, ever close an account.
Ooh, I wrote down something about that, Lisa. I was really going to make sure we emphasize that. I have credit cards that I've had for 10 years. What I may do, see, I don't spend cash. Say I go to get some gas. I will take that credit card and get my gas. And at the end of the month when I get a bill, I'll pay it. So I'll get credit for using that card, but I don't use it but every so often. I might not use it more than 3, 4, 5 times a year. But the longevity that's on the credit report to how long I've had that credit card is a plus to me and my credit. I don't care if the credit card ain't for $300. I'll pay it at the end of the month as long as I keep that card so I can let the longevity of me having that credit build up over the years.
That's key. That's key because what you're doing is you're keeping that account active, right?
Yes.
If that credit card has perks, you still get to earn. I always tell people, if you can just use it at least once a year and pay it off, okay? Just take it out once a year, okay? Don't close it. Because when you close that account, let's say you were to go close that account, you just earned 10 years of credit history. That can have a huge impact for people.
Yes.
Okay? It even gets so deep when it comes to your car payment. right? And you decide to go pay it off early. You're doing the right thing. When you pay it off and it closes that account, right? You paid it off early. You did the right thing. Woo, took care of some debt. Just by you paying that card off and closing it early, that can drop your score. I had one client score drop 91 points just because he paid his card off early and closed his account. So you got to be very careful when you are closing accounts, paying off things early, making sure there's no prepayment penalties. It's not the worst thing in the world because you can always build your score back up. But please don't close your accounts or don't let your accounts get closed. Okay? When I first got into this industry of repairing credit, I didn't know that, right? When my credit score was really bad, give you a little bit of background about me so I can kind of backtrack a little bit. I got into repairing credit because I had a horrible credit score. I was 6 months pregnant and I was going to buy my first home. I made really, really good money and I got denied. And I'm like, wait, what? How can I get denied? Well, my credit score was a 515. Nobody was going to give me a loan for a home.
That credit card.
Okay. Say that again?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa.
So, oh yeah, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry. So yeah, I got denied. It was like I had a 515 credit score, and I was just thinking to myself, wait a second, I'm making money. You mean to tell me that I can't go buy a home? No. It doesn't matter how much money I was making. I didn't have good credit, so the banks were looking at me like, how am I going to loan this girl $300,000 when she can't pay her credit card bills on time? When she had collections on her account. That's what they're looking at, right? That's what they're looking at, your character, right? So I was devastated. I'm 6 months pregnant, a new mom, wanting to have a home, the whole American dream thing in your mind, and that couldn't happen. Okay. So I said, you know what? I'll never be in this situation again. So that kind of led me into learning about credit. Right when I got into learning about credit, I closed my credit card account thinking that, okay, I don't need this credit card. I'm not going to use these credit cards. I'm going to just fix my credit, all that jazz. Well, I ended up closing one of my credit cards, and that dropped my score even lower. So please refrain from closing your account. Now, one of the most amazing things about having longevity, so for example, William, you have a credit card for over 10 years,
yes.
Right?
This is one of them.
Great way, if you guys have some, what'd you say?
That's just one of them. Yeah, I got credit cards, but I don't use them. I didn't build them. To get your credit score up to 800 or 850, 850 is the highest credit score you can have. But to get your credit up to 800, you can buy anything you want on credit.
Absolutely. Yep, it's the best feeling in the world, too, because you buy anything you want and you get the best interest rate. You can buy cars with no money down. I mean, it's an amazing feeling.
Yes.
And another great thing about having great credit, if you have a card that you've had for a long time and you've had great payment history, you can help build somebody else's credit. So for those of you guys that are listening that may have kids or soon-to-be teenagers, it's a great way to build their credit. If you add them as an authorized user to your credit card, you don't have to give them a card if you don't trust them. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to do that. You can keep the credit card yourself. You don't have to give them a card. But by adding them to your account, they now get your 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, 5 years of great credit history to build their credit score. This gives them a step above. This gives them a head start in this race of adulthood, right? Because you're building their credit.
Yeah.
So before they finish high school or college, they're going to be set because they'll have a 700, 750 credit score. And then they can go buy things and be responsible adults, right? So if you guys have accounts out there, they've been around for a long time, I highly encourage you, if you have children, as user. Now, if you're not responsible or you pay late, you can hurt their score. So don't do that if you're not managing your finances correctly. But if you are, it's a great way to help your kids, spouses, family, friends. Again, you don't have to give them a card to use it, so you don't have to worry about them using your personal credit card, but you can help them tremendously by adding them as an authorized user. It does not hurt your credit score, and it doesn't cost you to add them.
And I'm going to bring something up, Lisa, that a lot of people do. If you have an infant child with a Social Security number, don't put their name on your gas bill. Don't open up a gas bill with their name, a phone with their name. You don't realize what you're doing to your child when you do that. If you can't afford the bill yourself, do not put it in your child's name. because that will travel with them for years. So, and you got a lot of parents that you'd be surprised how many parents do that. And the child will go and try to get a credit card later on when they're a teenager or early college or after graduation, and they'll find out they got terrible credit because mama or daddy or somebody put their gas bill, their phone bill, or whatever in, and didn't make the payments.
Horrible.
So be careful what you do, but always, always, always check your credit score. Carry on, Lisa. I'm sorry, dear. I'll butt in every now and then.
No, that's so important. No, I love it. I love it that you're telling that because it's true. I mean, it's. I mean, I know sometimes we all get in binds and you think it won't matter, but you know, if you love your kids, you gotta love their future too. So that's so important. I'm glad you pointed that out. I mean, that's horrible. Please don't do that, y'all. Please don't do that. All right, so we covered, just to recap, okay? So payment history, 35% of your whole score. Number one thing, if you don't remember anything I say tonight, please remember to pay on time. Pay on time, okay? Because that can have the biggest impact, all right? Second thing is your credit utilization, all right? Keeping low credit card balances, okay? Yes. On your revolving debt, keeping that below 30% is key, all right? So just to practice, let's say you had a credit card with $1,000 credit limit. You should never carry a balance more than $300 on that credit card, okay? I recommend keeping it at 7 to 10%, but again, 30% is okay, 30% or less. So you keep low, okay? I don't care if you don't have any late payments or any charge-offs. If you carry high balances, that will lower your score. Good news is, when you pay down those balances, your score goes right back up, literally within 30 days, okay? So I know some people have been affected by COVID, and they've been maxing out their credit cards, they're stressing out, as long as you guys continue to pay on time, when money does turn around, things do come your way, you'll be able to pay down those credit card balances and be back on track.
And Lisa, something else about that. If your bill is due at the first of the month, and you mail it to them at the first of the month, you're late because they won't get it until the 3rd or 4th. So that means you are late. Well, I'm paying on time, and I do the first and I mailed it. If they don't get it for 3 or 4 days, sometime a week, that means you're late. Always pay your bills at least a week early. Mail them a week early. I set my car note to be due at the 15th of the month, but I always pay it on the 1st. All my bills aren't set up for the 1st of the month, but I pay them all at the 1st of the month. It's important that you don't have any. My credit score is down, I'm paying it on time. No, you're not. That's like being due at work at 9 o'clock, and you walk in the door at 9 o'clock. That means you're late. It doesn't say walk in the building at 9. It says go to work at 9. Same thing with your credit score. Don't mail it on the date that it's due. When they receive it, they want it to be late, because then you get a late charge on your credit card. It's usually about $35.
Yeah.
So y'all got to look at all of that. I mean, y'all got to write this down and take heed to what Sister Garrett and I are telling you.
Very true, very true. Those are great points. Yeah, you definitely don't want to pay late if you can avoid it. One of the things I recommend doing, if you are carrying a balance on your credit card, is to call your credit card company and ask them for the statement closing date. Not the due date, the statement closing date. So these are for people who may want to use their credit card as much as they want to, but they want to make sure when it closes, it doesn't report a high balance, okay?
Right.
Because what happens is this: if I have $1,000 credit card limit and I go charge $1,000, if I wait to the due date, it's gonna even though I pay on time and could pay it off, the statement closing date probably already reported that I have $1,000 balance. So that can affect my ratio. So when you find out your statement closing date, if you pay it by then, you will prevent the credit bureaus knowing how much of a balance you truly had on that card. Okay, that's a little trick there. All right. Those are for people who do use the credit cards quite often, maybe carry higher balance, but they know they're going to pay it. So they have the money. Look for the statement closing date. The statement closing date. Okay. So the next thing, so we looked at the payment history, the utilization, the length of credit history, which was 15%, in case you guys were taking notes. So you got 35% for your payment history, 30% for your utilization, 15% for your credit history. The next factor is the credit mix, okay? So this is 10% of your credit score. And this is really simple. It's just having a mix of different types of accounts. Okay, they like to see a very diverse portfolio, all right? So, for example, you want to have a car loan, a credit card, maybe a mortgage, some student loans. It's okay to have those things on your report. As long as you're keeping up with them, you're paying them on time. They like to see a good lender that you can handle different types of loans, and you're responsible, okay? Does it mean you got to go buy a car tomorrow if you don't have a car? No. But having a nice mix of accounts does help. Gotta make that clear, because some people will literally say, do I need to buy a car? No, you don't need to go buy a car. Just have a good mix, I always tell people, some people say, Lisa, how many credit cards should I have? I'm like, okay, I recommend having, 3 credit cards.
Yes.
5 back, but 3 good credit cards is perfect.
And don't live off of credit. Okay. Don't depend on your credit to live on. If you are living above your means, above your paycheck, above your salary, you are going to hit bottom one day. Be careful. Don't live off of your credit cards. Don't live above your wage. Act your wage. Act your wage. Now, I don't carry cash. Like I said, if somebody robs me, they just practicing. I might carry a maximum of $10 in my pocket. But I have a card that I use because it's easier for me to keep track of what I'm spending. But I always make due date. Y'all going to find out soon this is going to be a cashless society. They're getting you ready for it now, but you have to, a lot of places won't take cash already. And they're blaming on the pandemic. But that's bull junk. They're getting ready and preparing you for a cashless system. Sweden already uses a cashless system. They accept in Sweden less than 10% cash out of the whole nation. They're doing this for a reason. Now, I don't carry cash because it's easy for me to keep track of what I'm spending. Well, that's the way that you got to... See, there's a system now, Lisa, like I told them at the beginning. Credit is a system. It's a process that you got to learn in order to operate it that benefits you. You're giving them the guidelines to what they need to do and how to build your credit. If everything in the future is going to depend on your credit more so than now, and you don't know what you're doing and how to build and work and operate the system of credit, you will never, ever have nothing. You can't even move from one apartment to another with bad credit. You can't buy a car with bad credit. You can't buy items with bad credit. You got the money, but you want to use a credit card to get it, which is going to be soon, and you can't do it. How are you going to purchase something if it's a cashless society, cashless system, and your credit is shot? Think about it. Listen to what she's telling you, what I'm telling you. We're giving you the GPS system to good credit. Carry on, dear. I'm sorry, I got to step in every now and then.
No, I love it because, and it's truth. And, a lot of people get embarrassed. A lot of people just don't even want to think about it. A lot of people don't even check their credit score because they know it's bad. And here's the thing. It's kind of one of those things I tell people, like, okay, it's bad, but guess what? It can get better. Some people like to just avoid the facts of it, and they don't realize that they're hurting themselves by doing that. Just face it, fix it, and move on. It can be fixed. I'm embarrassed. My credit score is 400. So what? It can get lower than a 300. So let's get it up.
Yeah.
Let's get going.
Let's do this, Lisa. I'm going to open up the lines for questions in case someone has questions. Lines are open, y'all. *6. Any questions? Any comments? *6. Somebody talk to us. *6. Give me a mic check, someone on *6. Mic check, mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you.
Mic check.
Thank you. Lines are open. Any questions or comments? *6. Somebody talk to us.
Hello?
Yes.
This is Priscilla.
Yes,
I
Priscilla.
have a question.
Yes.
Ms. Lisa, would you please repeat the information about the statement closing date on your credit card statement?
Absolutely. Hi, Priscilla. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Okay. So there's a difference between your due date and your statement closing date. Okay.
Yes.
Depending on the lender or your credit card, they may not put the statement closing date on the bill. Some do, some don't. So I recommend calling your provider and asking them what your statement closing date is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What that means is that's the date that your statement's going to close. So whatever your balance is at that time is what is reported to the credit bureau.
Okay.
Okay, it's the last day of your billing cycle.
Okay.
So what I tell people is you don't have to pay by that date. You can continue to pay by your due date. But if you're carrying a balance, let's say you have a $1,000 credit balance, right? And you want it to show only 30%, you want to make sure you pay $700 of that by the statement closing date. So that way when it reports to the credit bureau, it only shows that you have 300 and not 1,000.
Okay. So I'm looking at a statement of mine that has a closing date on it.
Yeah, so your
7/10.
So that will be your close. More than likely, that's your closing date. I always tell people just to verify with the company because sometimes some bills can look a little confusing and tricky and stuff. But if that's your closing date, that will be the day your billing cycle ends. So if you pay by that date, you can help lower your utilization, which is going to help build your score, your credit score.
But how would a person know what that closing date? Will that be the same date every month you get a card? I mean, you get your statement?
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Oh.
Same date every month. Then you call your company and say, hey, what is my closing date? It's usually a few days, sometimes after your due date. Sometimes it can be before, just depending. It all depends. I never like to give a straight answer. I tell them to call the credit card company. So all you do is call them and say, what is my statement closing date? And all you're pretty much saying is, what date does my billing cycle end? Because whatever date it ends, that's the date they report that balance to the credit bureau for that month. Okay?
Okay. So try to pay it the month of your closing date. If your statement is due in August, try to pay it by the closing date, just say July 10th or something. So
for example, let's say your due date was August 15th. That's your due date. Okay?
Right.
If you pay every month by your due date, you're absolutely fine. You're not going to be late. You're going to be okay. You're fine.
Right.
However, if you're a person who carries a balance on your credit card and you don't want the credit bureau to see a higher balance reported, you want to get in the habit of paying by your statement closing date.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So that's where it comes into play. Okay?
Okay.
If you don't carry a balance, then it doesn't matter. You can pay on your due date. But if you're carrying a balance and you just don't want them to see a higher balance, you want them to see a lower balance before your statement date, before it reports to the credit bureau. That's your statement closing date. So that's what you want to find out.
Okay. Bless your heart. Okay. All righty. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Of course, definitely.
Lines are open. *6. Somebody talk to us. Lines are open. Now, if her and I are conversing, you can come right on in because we're going to talk, because dead air is the worst thing of any show. So we're going to talk, but when you want to speak, *6 and just speak, and we'll go directly to you. Lisa, I want to point something out that a lot of people definitely do not know. Everybody does not report to the credit bureau until you are late. Your phone bill doesn't report to the credit bureau until you are late. You have bills out there. What you want to do is call them and tell, if you want to build your credit, and you say, well, I got a phone bill, or I got this type of bill that I pay, but it don't report to the credit bureau. Notify them that you want them to report your credit history to the bureau. So when you're always paying on time, it's showing in the bureau you have a debt that you pay every month. So it will build your credit because it's saying you're not late. Because phone companies, these phone bills, they don't report to the credit company until you're late. And there are other companies out there that are the same way. And that's how you build your credit up, because you already got the bill you pay every month. You know you're going to pay your phone bill every month, because you know you ain't going to let that phone get cut off, baby. Because your boo-boo got to be able to call you. So, report, go come. I want you to report every month to the credit bureau. All that's doing is building your credit. It's building your credit. Now I got a question for you, Lisa, and I've never heard of this. What's the difference between the FICO score and a Vantage score?
Okay, so this is really good. This is really, 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 really important, guys. Okay, so when it comes to your credit score, a lot of people will have at least seen that there's more than one credit score. Okay, you got 3 credit bureaus. You have Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian.
Right.
There's actually more than just those 3. Okay, so it gets complicated at that point. We're gonna keep it very basic. So those are the 3 major credit bureaus. Now, one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing. Meaning, TransUnion has no idea what's on your Equifax credit report. Equifax has no idea what's on your Experian credit report. Okay, they each have a mathematical equation to how they report your score. Okay. But when we're talking about your FICO score, that's typically the score that most people are looking at when they go to apply for a home, a car, a loan, a credit card. When you go to apply for something like that, you get a hard hit on your credit, which brings me to my 5th credit factor, which I'll talk about in just a few moments. But your FICO score is the score that's used by 90% of the lenders. And lenders could be bank institutions, mortgage companies, credit card companies, car companies. When they go to pull your credit score, they're looking at your FICO credit score. Right. FICO has been around since the late, 80s. It's Fair Isaac Corporation. Okay, the company that actually started the whole idea of having a credit score. So people can be judged by how they handle the finances. You had a question?
Yes, lines are open. Somebody talk to us. I see I've got 2 people standing in queue. Takenya, do you have a question? Maggie, do you have a question? Yes, go on. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. Is there anything someone can do to like rapidly increase their credit scores? Like, say for instance, if they're and have a 600 credit score and they want to get to a 700, is there any tips or anything that they should be doing? I know you say pay your bills on time, but is there anything else?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. So if you're trying to get from the next level, the first thing, I would ask you, well, do you have any collections, charge-off, things of that nature on your report? Because that can prevent your score from going up. But let's say you don't, right? Things will fell off. One of the quickest ways to do it is to be added as an authorized user to somebody's account. That's going to give you the quickest boost, okay? That can jump some people up from 20 to 40 points. If you get added as an authorized user to a nice account, what I mean by that, a credit card that has no late payments, a credit card was been around 3 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9, 10 years. Getting added as an authorized user will be the quickest way. When it comes to disputing, which is what my company do, when we dispute on a credit report, we remove collections, charge-off, repossession, things of that nature. That will also help boost your score up, but it can take 90 days or so before you start to see some results. But the quickest way is adding as an authorized user. Some credit builders that I really, really like is if you guys can write this down, okay? Or if maybe we can get a way where I can get your email addresses. I don't know if you can, maybe they can send a message on your Facebook. Or if I get your email address, I can actually send you a list of credit builders that you guys can use. I give it to all my paying clients, but you'll get it for free. I'll send it to you guys, and it's a list of a lot of credit builders. But some of my favorites, you write this down, are self-lender. Oh, self-lender.
Are you saying, I'm sorry, you saying self or shelf?
Self.
Self. So S is in Sam, E, L, F is in Frank. So like self, like you, like one person. So self-lender. That's a great credit builder that I have my clients use. And what that is you go to selflender.com. You're going to pick an amount to come out of your checking account each month. It's going to report to your credit report as that you took out a secured loan. Okay? So let's say you chose to have them take out $48 a month. They will take out $48 out of your checking account each month, same day, for 12 months. It's going to look as if you took out a loan and you're paying it back. But what it's doing is it's building your credit. And the cool thing is, after those back. Now, it's not going to take 12 months for you to start to see the increases, which is great. It'll take, a few payments, then you'll start to see your credit score increase. But that's a great credit builder that you can add. Experion Boost. For those of you guys that are still renting, you can go to Experian.com and do Experion Boost. That helps some clients with their Experian credit report. That's another great way to help build and give yourself more of a quicker boost. Is what you're looking for? Experion.com. It's called an Experion Boost.
And you can also go, I was telling you about companies that don't report to the credit bureau. You can get the people you rent from to report that you pay rent every month on time. They're not going to do it, but if you ask,
Yeah, that's actually on my list as well too. The credit builder list is called Rental Karma. Rental Karma. That's a great one. Where you can have your rent reported. Because if you're paying rent, you might as well let it benefit you, right?
That's
so
right.
Have your rent reported is excellent. It's
That's
excellent.
Right. That's right.
I have a question. I have a friend. She was, I think it was, I don't know if you want to talk about companies, but anyway, and then she left that credit card for another company because it had options that allowed her, like she went to Canada or if she went to Mexico, because she used to go on a lot of mission trips, and so that other credit card that she went to helped her with her lifestyle, and like there wouldn't be extra service charge fees. So my question to you, when the person, let's say you said it's good to maintain the same credit card, but then you find something else that really, I mean, you don't have to pay service charge, convert your money or this and that because they're trying to help people who travel. How do you explain that? You know, because let's say you've had a credit card for 5 years and then you come across one that really gives you what you need. So how is, I mean, the credit union or the agency, they don't know why you left that one and you opened a new one, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, a great point. I'm glad you asked that question. So, it's okay. It's okay to go open up a credit card account. Okay. The only thing is you don't want to close any account. So let's say I had a card that I'm using, but really not giving me benefits, and I'm like, higher balance one. I can get some travel miles or something. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But don't close out that other account. Just don't close it. That's the only thing I recommend. Don't close it. If you do, guess what? You didn't know, but now you know today. Now you know going forward, don't close out your account, right? But you can go apply for another credit card. Just keep in mind, whenever you apply for new credit, it's going to hit your credit report as an inquiry. It's going to hit your credit report as an inquiry. So when it hits it as an inquiry, it's going to drop your credit score, typically 2 to 5 points. Excuse me. 2 to 5 points. So when it drops to 2 to 5 points, just have it in mind that, okay, I just applied for something. It dropped my credit score a little bit, but as I begin to use it and make payments, my credit score is going to go back up.
And what about the accounts that charge annual fees versus the ones that don't? You know, a lot of people consider maybe changing because that's an issue too, because sometimes annual fees can be up to $40 or $35 or just, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot. One that
it is a lot for some
people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. Some cards do have annual fees, and that's unfortunate. But I still don't recommend closing that account out. You know what I mean? I would say to still use it. I had a card that had an annual fee. It won't give the best perks. The ones that do have the fees typically give the best perks. So find ways to use the card. It has an annual fee. Find ways to use a credit card. Find it. Like, pay your gas on one card. I have one card where I just pay my gas on, right? I have one card where I travel with. I have one card where I'll pay other bills on. So you can find ways to still use that card to make it work for you, but typically the cards with annual fees do give you some sort of perks. Okay, you don't want to
Lisa, I only have 3 minutes left, and I have a question from someone on social media. Mr. Campbell wants to know, if you have fixed the information from one reporting agency, do you need to get the other 2 main reports and work on fixing those 2?
Absolutely. Because remember, when the lender looks at your credit report, they're going to look at all 3. So let's say you fix everything on Experian, but your TransUnion and your Equifax are still showing charge-offs and collections. That's not good. Right. You got to fix all 3. That's why I don't recommend Credit Karma. A lot of people use Credit Karma, and even though it's a free site, and we all like free because I'm cheap, I hate paying for stuff, but Credit Karma only shows you your TransUnion and your Equifax. It does not show your Experian. So it's always good to site that you're either paying one or gives you all 3 reports. The ones that I recommend are Experian or Identity IQ. Experian, Identity IQ is a good one. Smart Credit is another good one. You need a credit monitoring that gives you all 3 so you can fix all 3 reports. Do not rely on Credit Karma, guys. Credit Karma is very misleading. I have clients who come to me saying, Lisa, my Credit Karma shows me I have a 750. But when they try to go get a car or a house, it shows that their FICO score is in the 500. Credit Karma is very misleading. Credit Karma is a bank. Credit Karma gets paid every single time you guys go on Credit Karma and it tells you, hey, you can get this credit card. Hey, you can get this loan. And when you apply for credit cards and loans off of Credit Karma makes money.
Lisa, I'm going to have to bring you back again next month. We have like one minute. Tell me something, Lisa. How can they reach you if they want to talk with you or hire you to repair their credit? How can people reach you?
Yes, definitely. I do free consultations, guys. My consultations are 30 minutes, so even if you don't need help, if you need guidance, please reach out to me. But you can follow me on Facebook. My name is Lisa Garrett, Garrett. I have a white shirt on. It says I Fix Credit, so you know it's me. My website, if you want to go look at my services, if you're needing your credit repaired, my website is lifestylefinancialsolutions.com. So it's lifestylefinancialsolutions.com. There you can go online, book a consultation. I have a do-it-yourself credit repair book for those of you guys who are more independent, kind of want to do it on your own. My book is only $27. It has credit repair template letters on there, which is great to give you an idea of how to write a letter. But I always say book a consultation because sometimes you just need the guidance. And then if you hit me up and you need some credit builders, I'll send you a list, an email list with all different types of credit builders that will help you guys out.
Lisa, darling, thank you. I told them earlier I was going to tell them how I happen to know you. Well, y'all, let me tell y'all about this young lady. This young lady happens to be my niece. She lives in Florida, so I haven't seen her for quite a while. I haven't been in Florida in almost 20 years. But to watch her grow and to see what she is at business, and y'all, she's not young. She looks like a baby, but she's a lot older than she looks. She looks like a baby, but she's a lot older than she looks. But y'all, call her. If you have questions, she give you a half an hour. See, I don't give it 15 minutes consultation. Because my time, you got to pay for some of my time. I got to make some money because I like to eat. And now, Lisa, darling, I'm going to have you back on probably next month because there are things that I want to cover that we didn't cover about credit.
Awesome. Yeah, guys. Don't get discouraged. That's one thing I say. Do not get discouraged. You can do it. The majority of it is just mindset. Lisa, mindset is key. I preach that.
Is there a phone number they can reach you on, or they got to reach you just through?
So, nope. My phone number is 800-399-0098.
Repeat that.
So 800-399-0098.
Now, family, what I need...
800-399-0098.
What I need you to do, family, is share this out. I have over 200 people on social media. Y'all share this out. This is a very valuable show right here. This is a very valuable show. This one. Everybody needs to know about their credit. But let me tell you about the millionaire. Let me tell you about the show, The Road to Success. Y'all, you'll know we're doing a drive to try to get money to keep me on the air. I need help, y'all. I need financial assistance to keep me on the air. I've been doing this show for 8 years. I've done over 400 shows. So you benefit from this show. I'm asking you to give a donation. I don't care if it's $20, $50, $100, $1,000, $10,000. You get your perks too when you give so much. I got perks for you. Go to Cash App and send a donation at Cash App, the $ W Murray, WMURRY. You can go to PayPal PayPal.me/MM Institute. PayPal.me/MM Institute. We have a GoFundMe page at GoFundMe.com/F/W Murray 1. MURRY 1. For those of you who want to send a check or money order, send it to P.O. Box 47438, District Heights, Maryland 20753. Now, you can call the Institute at 240-619-2019 if you want to do it with a credit card. 240-619-2019. And we do it with the Square process. And you get a receipt instantly. Whether if you want an email or text, you get it instantly if you want to do a credit card. Y'all were asking for donations so I can continue to carry this show on the air. I was talking to some politicians today, and they're going to be my guests. Y'all, we're going to talk about what happened today. Of course, you know, Kamala Harris is Biden's vice president, to be the vice president under Joe Biden. He picked Kamala Harris today. I haven't got stimulus, but they're saying $300 above instead of $600, which you got with your unemployment. They're saying $300. I got to get more information because they just did that this evening, and you know me, I got to get it right, and I got to know. So I'll have that for you Friday on Friday's show. Give a donation, y'all. Please give a donation. If you need more information or want to talk to me, and you need help and coaching on building and growing your life and your business or your idea, call me at 240-619-2019. Lisa, darling, thank you, thank you, thank you. Fantastic show, dear.
Yes.
You did tremendously, tremendous, and I'm so proud of you, my darling. But I'm not really, because you know it's in the family, baby. It's in your blood.
Right, exactly. Thank you for having me. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Until next time, darling. You know I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
All right, love you too. Love you guys. Take care.
Y'all, as always, I tell you, if you push me, I'll pull you. If you pull me, it doesn't matter whether I'm pushing or I'm pulling, y'all. We're going to get there together. Why? Because we are all a winner, and I'm making sure of such. So until next time, y'all, I'm telling you, I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Please, y'all, give a donation. I need, and all this money goes to the show. None of it goes in my pocket. I love you. And until next time, y'all, God bless. And keep working on your road to success. Until next time, y'all, God bless.